A civil group, Action Society, has reacted strongly after Minister Bheki Cele's response to a parliamentary question in Parliament, where Minister of Police Bheki Cele explained that the National Policing Strategy fulfills the purpose of a proper policing plan to combat violent crime and regain community trust. Director of Community Safety at Action Society, Ian Cameron, said Cele's plans have not worked since he became the Minister of Police, as crime has gotten considerably worse, with a 62% increase in murder in the last 10 years. Cameron further said the minister also lied to the public when he says that they work closely with other state departments to solve the crime issue, as conviction rate is at an all-time low and 14.5% of unsolved murders. And now to further unpack this, I'm being joined by the Director of Community Safety, Ian Cameron. Thank you so much, Ian, for joining me.
Hi there, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Now, let's begin with your comment on what you call the lies by the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele. Can you take us through some of those lies?
Yeah, I think there are a few things to list. I think firstly, he speaks about the increase in terms of boots on the ground, and he keeps on speaking about an additional 10,000 South African Police Service members per year. But we all know that firstly, there's a massive recruitment issue at the moment because of the alleged corruption at training institutions of the police, where new recruits are actually paying their way in, and where people that did actually go through the relevant prerequisite training or rather assessment couldn't get in because they didn't pay someone to get in. So that's the recruitment challenge. We also have a problem with the fact that he only speaks about uniform members and boots on the ground, but not about specialized units and more detectives. Currently in South Africa, most detectives have around 300 plus dockets per detective, whereas they shouldn't really have more than 50 each. So it makes it very, very challenging for them to do their job. And we also found that in his plans, he speaks of a so-called, or rather in his media reaction, he speaks of a so-called integrated effort. But this is also a lie, because there is no integrated effort along with the Department of Justice and Correctional Services or with the Department of Social Development. So it seems that he is just regurgitating a document that has existed for quite a few years and that hasn't been implemented properly so far.
Now, Ian, putting all of this into consideration, do you think that the minister is still fit to do the job?
No, absolutely not. Sorry, I'm laughing, but it's come to a point where, you know, we hear the president in South Africa saying that the minister is fit for purpose, but the murder rate in South Africa has increased by over 60% just in the last 10 years. The majority of that increase has been during Minister Bheki Cele's time as the Minister of Police. So things are not looking good. It's as though he confuses his role as police minister with the role of a national commissioner, and he struggles to give real strategic guidance and strategic oversight to the South African Police Service, and also fulfilling his parliamentary mandate. It almost seems like he's there to be a bit more of a spokesperson for the South African Police Service or an ambassador for them, instead of playing the civilian oversight role for which he has been chosen for. So we are very worried about the fact that he is still the minister. I also think it has come to a point where he should rather just retire. And it seems that he doesn't have the necessary knowledge about policing. He has no policing experience, as when he was appointed as the National Commissioner of Police. And I also think it's unnecessary for him to be the minister after he was previously sacked for corruption when he was the National Commissioner of Police, and he was obviously then appointed too as a political appointment and not as a career police officer.
Speaking of policing, what exactly are some of the strategies that you think should be put in place to help curb the crime? And if I may ask, you as a civil society group, what exactly are you doing to help? Because, I mean, as we understand, tackling crime now requires combined efforts.
Absolutely. So collaboration is key, and we work very well with the police on ground level. I think to us, there's a major shortage of merit appointments in the management of the police. So some of the solutions that we've proposed is doing a skills audit on national level in the South African Police Service, determining who was appointed according to merit and who was appointed according to political affiliation. And if it is the latter, they should be removed. We also propose that a polygraph process should be followed just to point us into the right direction for who should be investigated for corruption. We believe that if we get that type of approach done on national level, for the senior management of the South African Police Service, we can start influencing what's happening on the ground where things are really not looking great. We also want to bring back specialized units and reserve capacity. Crime intelligence units is crucial because we've got no real proactive measures to combat crime. Now, Cele says that they've got a plan in place, yet only 14.5% of murders are solved in South Africa. So that means almost 9 out of 10 murders are not solved,
right,
and that it's almost become a free-for-all when it comes to something like murder. And then lastly, we've started implementing alternatives where we literally do the investigation ourselves, or we assist police that are overburdened on ground level. We then do the oversight in a court of law, and we make sure that convictions are obtained and that these heinous criminals are put behind bars.
Okay. Director of Community Safety, Ian Cameron, thank you so much for joining us in the news.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Now, coming up, Nigerian chef Hilda Bassi acknowledged by Guinness Book of Records for her accomplishment. Details of the story and more after the break.